So one thing that every designer wants to know, is degree important to become a successful graphic designer?
I think that it used to be. And if you're going to work for an agency or a corporation, there is a legacy of, human resources, the people who do the hiring, who want to see they
Yeah,
want to see a degree. And
yeah,
but the thing when you're a creative that's almost more important than and that is because they want to see some basic level of education that you can write, that you can interact,
yeah,
that you've got a basic portfolio and skill set. They can trust that you've got that skill set. Now, that
yeah,
said, in order to become a great graphic designer or to get an education in graphic design, you don't have to pay for a 4-year degree anymore. There is enough free information online, on YouTube, in
yeah,
content around the
exactly.
world that if you can, or if you are determined to do it, you can learn graphic design and how to be a creative professional for free online. But you have to really, really kind of hunt down the best resources and do it. And then you have to build a portfolio on your own. Now, is that
Yeah,
easy? No, it's not. And is it going to take a little longer maybe to get there? Possibly, but you can do it for free and you can build the skills that you need to survive and make a living without having to have a 4-year degree.
so as a designer, as a graphic designer, like how can we enhance our skills, what are the best ways to enhance our graphic design skills
Yeah.
once we get into this industry?
Yeah.
Yeah,
One of the best ways, and graphic designers don't really do this that much. And this is something that I took away from the fine arts from when I was a painter, was that one of the ways that you learn to be a better fine artist is you copy other people's work. And you see this if you go to a museum, right? You might see an artist in there sketching from some painting or sketching from a sculpture or copying a painting. And by copying work and recreating really great design work, you learn what went into creating that thing and also the decisions that person made in creating it. And it doesn't seem naturally apparent to graphic designers that they're like, "Oh, why would I want to copy this other piece of work?" until you do it. And then when you do it, you
yeah,
start to learn about why that person did what they did, why those color relationships, why those balance relationships, those layout ideas, those layout decisions that they made when that designer was creating that piece.
yeah,
You start to learn those things. You also are challenged with like, oh, how did he do that? How did he get that color in that photograph? How did he do that filter? How did they isolate out that text on top of that image? How did they create that effect? And so by trying to recreate something, you have to go out and learn what it is that actually technology was that they needed to put
yeah,
that together. And so I recommend that designers who are just starting off, that they study the great designers, and then they try to
yeah,
recreate some of the work that really inspires them. Recreate the work that you see that you were really inspired by, the sort of work that you want to do when you become more accomplished. So that's one thing. Recreate the masters and learn from it. Another one
yeah,
is you really want to expose yourself to as much inspiration as you can. I am a voracious consumer of inspiration, going on design websites, Behance, Dribbble, Pinterest. Just immerse yourself in graphic design and imagery and this sort of stuff that really lights your fire and gets you excited. Because the more and I'm also a big proponent of print. So, I mean, subscribe to Communication Arts Magazine or to Design USA, or there are a lot of print magazines that are great as well. And you can read them cover to cover, learn about
yeah,
the industry, learn who's out there doing what. And that's going to educate you in terms of the sorts of design that there is. That's another thing for beginning designers, is that a lot of beginners don't really understand what are the breadth of things that you could make a living in, right? When I was in the
yeah,
fashion industry, I had to hire graphic t-shirt designers. And the Old Navy graphic t-shirt business was a $700 million a year business. It was a huge business, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I had a team of 20 graphic designers. And it was hard finding graphic designers who were good and who did t-shirt design. Why? Because no schools teach t-shirt design. No one,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one, no, very few people even knew it existed as a job that they could have and make a really decent living in. So I had to go out and find illustrators, or I had to go out and find, different types of, or fine artists and say, hey, can you learn Photoshop? Can you learn Illustrator? Because I need a certain kind of designer who can put type and image together on something that looks cool on a shirt. And these people would come in, they go, wow, I didn't even know that this job role existed. And so by going out and really learning what are the different, there's app design, there's print design, there's packaging design, there's motion design, there's audio design, there's video editing, there's video special effects, there's social media design, there's thumbnail design, there's audiogram design. I mean, there's game design. I mean, I could just go on and on and on and on in terms of all of the different types of roles that are available for creatives. You never really know as a beginner what it is that you want to do or what is even available to you that you could make a living in. So you really want to kind of become a student of the industry. You want to become a student of all the different kinds of designers, all the different kinds of industries that use design or use creative. So you can nurture your own curiosity about what you might want to pursue, because there's so many different things that you could pursue.
Yeah, so I can totally relate to this because I am also a graphic designer, and when I started this graphic design thing 3 years ago, I used to recreate all the designs. I picked some designs from Google, I picked some design from Behance, and I used to recreate that. And that's how I learned the Photoshop tools. That's how I learned the Adobe Illustrator tools and Figma for that matter, Adobe XD for that matter. So I think this is the best way to learn graphic design. Yeah, so I can totally relate to this.
One of the other things I'll say is that when there are a ton of free resources, right? But there's also some paid resources that are really inexpensive, but give you a huge opportunity to learn the software, right? So part of, being a creative pro these days is learning the software. You have to learn Photoshop, you have to learn Adobe Illustrator, you have to learn, Adobe Premiere, possibly video editing. There's a million different apps that are required as a designer, InDesign, etc. I'm going to make a quick plug for, I work with a guy named Bring Your Own Laptop, Daniel Scott, who's he's a certified Adobe trainer. And he has a website where he has video training on Adobe products. And the subscription for this website is $12 a month. I mean, it's nothing. And I mean, even for, India or developing countries, $12 a month is relatively affordable, right? So if you're really saying, I mean, if you compare it to like what it would cost to actually go to school, and
exactly,
and you can learn any of your favorite Adobe programs, and I'll give you a link. This is an affiliate link, so I get an affiliate fee, but it's BYOL.me, so .me/Philip, PHILIP. And if you go to that address, you can sign up for Bring Your Own Laptop courses. Money well spent. Daniel's an amazing guy. He's a friend of mine. And if you've ever seen any of my graphic design trend videos for the last 2 years, I feature him in that trend video as a little plug. But anyway, amazing way to learn Adobe software. And so my whole point in going down that road is that there are a million free resources out there, yes, but there's also some really high quality paid resources out there that are very, very affordable that you could also explore.